All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and joined with Rocky Jimenez. What's going on, man? I'm from the tri-state area, so I am familiar with the last name Jimenez because of Luis Jimenez. He was like a Spanish radio disc jockey. Turn his mic, please. Let me get a mic check.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, just bring it closer. That arm can still get a little. There you go. So, Rocky, man, you are a trainer at DLX?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you look extremely young. How long have you been training? And were you a fighter before, I guess?
I was an amateur fighter before, since I was little, so I can remember. I did also martial arts, and I've been training for a couple of years now. I started when I first came to Vegas. I started fighting. I started fighting in California. Came out here, and worked for Rival Boxing, and.
You said for Rebel or Rival?
Rival.
The glove company.
Yeah, the glove company. Yeah, and now I'm a trainer now. DLX Boxing.
Shout out to Russ Abner, right? He's the
Russ Amber. Yeah, he's a good guy. Cut man for Lomachenko. Very good guy.
So wait, is he only a cut man, or isn't he like part owner of that company, Rival, or no?
Oh yeah, he is.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, cool. So when did you transition into training from? Because you were an amateur for how long, and then what year did you stop?
So I stopped fighting at 25.
Okay.
I stopped competing around 25, and had jobs here and there. Then went to Rival Boxing. I was there for like about four years, I think, and then pandemic hit, and then everything shut down, and then I was like, oh no, you know what I mean, like everybody else, and I got in touch with the gym owner from DLX Boxing, and I was trying to help her with her gym and stuff like that with bags and setting up the ring and doing all that, and they told me to come down and start training people at DLX, and I've been there ever since. And
how long has that been now?
It's been for 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you loving it?
Love it. It's great. It's something I have to do, you know. I love training fighters, amateur fighters, anybody who wants to learn the sweet science and boxing, you know. So it's great.
And so what would you say your specialty is, or your expertise as a trainer? Because some people, are known for their pad work, others for their mind, or are you a mixture of both? Because you are youthful.
I would say hit and not get hit. You know, the sweet science of boxing, of not getting hit. You know, me as an amateur fighter, I was always a slick fighter, a fast fighter. You know, didn't have a lot of power, but I didn't get hit much. But so that's where, like, my movement and footwork, and I would say I'm more like a speed guy, really not get hit.
So are you training any pros, or are you working with the amateurs that come in the building?
I'm working with the amateurs that come in the building. I was an amateur myself, and it's good to see, amateurs that you teach, like that come in and actually really learn and don't pick up bad habits. So when they go into the pros, they have the good fundamentals,
And being as though that you're working with amateurs, have you grown fond of any fighters? Or have you seen any that you believe have the potential to become pro?
Yeah, we have some in our gym. We have Gino Spadafora.
Okay.
Gino Spadafora, he's a really good amateur, and we have Hassan Rahman. He's a really good amateur too. I believe those guys will, if they keep at it, could be world champions.
Yeah, I got the pleasure of meeting Rahman the other day, and everyone was telling me how good he is in that gym, man.
Yeah, he's really good. He's a very talented kid. I had a pleasure of working with him when he first came to the gym, and but he's very good, man. Very talented. A lot of power. He's only like 15 years old.
Welterweight, right?
Yeah, 15 years old, and he carries a lot of power behind, a lot of snap, good speed. You know what I mean? He listens well. So he's gonna be good.
Now, how do you, I guess, not get yourself hurt emotionally or attached? Because you're dealing with amateurs, so they might come in the gym 3 months. Next time you see them, they're on the football field, or they're not interested in boxing anymore. Have you been through those situations, and how have you dealt with them?
Not really, but it's I say as long as they're learning, you know what I mean. I'm there to teach, you know what I mean. I don't if someone wants to, I don't know, stay with me for long term, and then maybe they left me over the years, and that would kind of suck, you know what I mean. But as long as they're learning, you know what I mean, I'm there to teach. You know, anybody who wants to come in, even if they want to come in for a month, you know what I mean. And as long as they take what I've taught them and, you know, apply it to life and all that stuff, and, you know.
So why boxing for you? I know you were an amateur, but what got you into the sport?
My father, he's a boxing guy, martial artist. He was like #1 in California for a long time. You know what I mean? He fought full contact, and since I was a little kid, he was always fighting. Bruce Lee, you know what I mean? And he got me into it, and I was just born that way, man. Born fighting, you know what I mean?
Do you have any children yourself?
I do.
Females, boys? All boys.
Yeah,
How many?
I have 4 children.
Wow, 4 boys.
4 boys. Yeah.
Jeez.
4 boys.
You said that was hard to do, Ness.
That's extremely hard. He knows it. I bet you don't know anyone else with 4 boys. Fuck, Hasim Rahman.
There you go.
That's fucking right. I forgot about Rahman. Yeah. But no, it's super difficult, man. Like, bro, everybody gets like 1 boy and 3 girls, or 1 boy and 2 girls. Right?
Yeah.
Wow. So what's your oldest? Forget that. Are any of them interested in boxing because they see you in?
They are.
Wow.
They all like boxing, but one of them in particular is his name's Dominic. We call him Boom Boom, and he's very into boxing. One of his favorite fighters is Lomachenko, and he's a southpaw himself. And I've been training him since he was born. I put on gloves. In his crib, I used to put on a boxing glove.
What?
And he used to sleep with it and put it on, and sleep with it, and put it on.
How old is he now?
He's 8 years old now.
Oh wow, so he can actually fight, probably.
Yeah, he can fight. I have videos of him, and he's amazing, man. He's an amazing kid. He really has like natural talent. Like at his age, he has more talent than me. Than you know. What I mean? It's crazy.
Has he started fighting amateur yet?
No, he hasn't. Not yet. I don't want him to. I train him, but I don't want him to actually, you know, get hit yet. You know what I mean? You know, I see a lot of, you know, kids that get hit early, and you know what I mean, as they're kids. You know, by the time they're 19 or, you know, 20, they're already kind of shot and done. You know what I mean?
Because of early sparring and stuff?
Early sparring, and they go sparring. That's all they want to do is spar. You know what I mean? By the time they're 19, 20, they're done. They're shot, you know?
But isn't that necessary, some of that sparring, to, like, take that anxiety out?
It is, but I would say it has to be, like, controlled. You know what I mean? It has to be real controlled, not everyday sparring. You have to,
for sure.
You have to learn boxing. You have to learn how to not get hit, and you have to learn about footwork. You have to learn fundamentals, and, you know, everything else, you know.
Absolutely, man. So you're saying that your teaching style is hit and not be hit.
Exactly.
So obviously, being young, who are some of the coaches that I don't know you pull from for inspiration, mentorship, guidance, even technique?
Well, one of my coaches he's like my brother. He started me off in boxing. Is Jason Ingwalson. He was #1 boxer in the world at one point. You know what I mean? And he was one of my mentors and teachers that taught me. Another one who I take guidance from is the legendary Kenny Adams.
Okay.
Kenny Adams, man, his knowledge of boxing and how he talks. And
isn't that McKellar trainer?
No.
Who he trains?
Kenny Adams trained like Pernell Whitaker.
Oh,
yeah, he trains like 30 world champions.
He was the K. Karoma before K. Karoma. Not saying nothing about him personally, whatever, but I'm just saying,
what is Michaela Mayers? I know she trains with K. Karoma as well, but she's got the little old man. What's his name?
Coach Al.
Oh, Al Mitchell.
Al Mitchell, yeah.
I'm mixing it up. Okay. I'm like, damn, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, so them and, you know, other people. There's other people too, you know, but those two, like, I really when they talk, like, I really listen to them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I like them. They're cool.
So today we're discussing Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall and that big fight that's going to be happening. Claressa recently came out and said that her KO streak will start now with Marshall. As a trainer, can a fighter just decide when a KO streak starts? And secondly, can you help a fighter develop power? Because she's only got 2 knockouts. So, like, are we going to see her all of a sudden become this puncher because someone worked with her? Can you work on developing knockout power, not just snap and pop?
I believe you can. A lot of boxers, when they box, they tend to not really sit down on their punches, and they're more of a tag and not get hit kind of thing. But I feel like if she could maybe sit down more on her punches and really work on that and her team and develop that power, and I think they can. So. I don't know if a boxer could actually say when they could decide I'm gonna have a knockout streak with the starting now, but every fight's different and they're all hard, so we'll see.
I mean, you were a fighter. Were you able to sit across the ring from someone and like look over to your coach like, man, I'm gonna knock this fool out, and it actually happened, or that's just, I don't know, bravado and to soup yourself up, excite yourself?
It was always I was a cocky little shit, so you know what I mean. It was I was always said no one could beat me. I'm too fast for them. But every match and every fight you have is a difficult one. You know what I mean. No matter who it is, you don't know how you're gonna perform that day, or you know what I mean, or what's gonna happen. One punch could change everything. So. But you just have to have confidence, full confidence in your abilities and your skills to make it happen.
So Fury did to Wilder, like he was like, I'm gonna knock him out. We didn't believe him, and he did it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Clarissa is the smaller woman. You being the trainer, if you were training her, what would be the game plan? Or does the height of Marshall not matter in boxing?
Everything comes into play. I think height does matter. But I would say her team and her coach would have to come up with a good game plan. If you go in there and just go through the motions of just fighting, you know what I mean, you're not gonna. You would have to adapt to them. Not a lot of people could do that, except for Floyd. You know what I mean? But you have to go in with a good game plan and look to slip punches. You know what I mean, and really capitalize on that, you know what I mean, and really sit down on your punches and hit her with hard shots, you know what I mean. So every time she throws, she knows that something's gonna come back hard, So we'll see.
What would be, I guess, the basic game plan when fighting a taller and longer person? Because Marshall is very tall, very long, and mentally she holds a win over Shields in the amateurs.
I would say inside fighting. I would say get her on the inside. A lot of people who are real lanky or real tall and a lot of reach, sometimes can't really fight on the inside. But
excluding Sebastian Fundura.
Except him, man. That guy's a monster. But yeah, I would say fight on the inside, getting her, like, roughing her up. Roughing her up, being physical with her. Hard shots, go to the body. You know what I mean. Establish your jab, you know what I mean? Make sure something's always coming at her, so she's always defending, so. Have
you watched either of the two women fight?
I've watched a lot of Clarissa Shields, but as far as Marshall, I haven't. Yeah,
None.
I know she has a win over the amateurs over her, but I haven't seen her fight recently, no.
Wow. So you're not excited. You don't even know when it's happening, right? And it's okay to be honest.
I don't know when it's happening. I've seen her like on social media, like coming out like she's gonna fight this girl and stuff like that. But I know nothing about the girl, honestly. But
do you think
Clarissa Shields, I do know.
Do you think that's what's hindering boxing, holding it back? Is that the women aren't getting the knockouts to get your attention? Like, I mean, look, this is an undisputed fight with two, very successful women in the sport, and a trainer in boxing doesn't know.
Sometimes. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think a lot I think the women, they're actually starting to, women's boxing is starting to pick up with Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. That was a major fight. You know,
Wow, because that was my next question, but you've answered it. I was gonna say, which one is bigger, Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, or this one, which is again?
I thought Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor.
Wow,
that was a huge fight. I mean,
see, for me, I think it's supposed to be Clarissa versus Marshall because they have that built-in amateur history. They've been cursing at each other on Instagram and Twitter for years, where that wasn't really there for Amanda and Katie. They did that kind of in the build-up, but I get it. You know, Katie's an international star.
Yeah.
And that's just it, man.
Yeah,
you gotta, you know, she carried the bulk of that promotion because I feel like Serrano got her push once she got with Jake Paul.
Yeah, and that was pretty a good move on their part. You know what I mean? They really came up, and Jake Paul, I mean, he's really trying to help women's boxing. You know, so you can't knock him for that. But so I think that was a great fight though. They were going full force at that. You know, they were chucking them.
So, speaking of Jake Paul, you got the DLX badge on your chest.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the cancellation, man? Because there's a lot of fingers being pointed of who should be to blame. And I love Rahman. I just spanked his dad in chest over at the gym, you know, twice, just in case you're wondering. But if you sign a contract, you sign a contract. You knew to wait when you signed it. So then they gave you an extra 5, and the rumor is that he's asked for an extra 10. So, you know, I don't know. How do you feel about the cancellation?
I don't know. I think Jake Paul knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? Getting him down so.
Oh, absolutely.
So low.
But so did Floyd. He made Canelo fight him at 152. Like, this is not new.
Yeah.
Pacquiao made Margarito come down to 151. Yeah. This is not new. Like, you signed. You wanted the opportunity with the A-side. This is what A-sides do. Yeah. Cotto made Canelo come to 55. He made Sergio Martinez come to what? Like 57, right. Bo, or 8? Yeah. Like, you the A-side. You do what you want. Yeah. And if you want to accept the contract, then you get to fight me. Right. So I don't know. It was a huge opportunity. He looked good. He was here like the day before Rahman was, and he looked lean.
Yeah, he was in great shape. But I don't know, man. I mean, if you sign the contract, I mean, you should go through with it. You know what I mean?
As a trainer, though, do you think it was physically possible for him to lose? He said at the time of the phone call he was 232 pounds when he got offered the fight. Let's say the original contract of 200 is that. Can you safely get a fighter to lose 32 pounds
in 3 weeks?
Was it 3 or 5?
I'm not sure what.
Me
it was.
neither.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many weeks. I know it was very
all right,
short,
but
though,
pick one.
You know?
Which one of those can you do it in, and can you not do it in? 3 weeks sounds too quick.
3 weeks is unhealthy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You could get a fighter hurt. You know what I mean? Get them hurt, because you have to dehydrate. You know what I mean? Dehydrate. You know what I mean? Getting hit in the head and all that stuff. But maybe 5 weeks. I think you could do it in 5 weeks. Yeah. You get UFC fighters who do it who lose 10 pounds in 1 week. You know.
I mean, isn't weight cutting like 15 in a day? How many do you lose when you weight cut? When you're like literally not drinking water.
Yeah, you're losing about 4 pounds a day, 5 pounds a day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's tough, you know. But it could be done. I think proper training, proper nutrition. You know what I mean? The right training. You know what I mean? I think it could be done.
I did too, but I'm not a fighter, so I get criticized when I say, bro, they work out 3 times a day. Like, if you woke up, went to the track, then you went back home, had your breakfast, maybe took a nap, you back in the gym at 11 or 12, doing your work with your trainer, with Mr. Jimenez, and y'all working on game plan. You go back home, shower, take a rest. You're in strength and conditioning with Coach Larry fucking Wade. You getting ready. Like, I don't get it. It's a lot of money on the table. I'm not talking Rahman. I'm just saying in general. For a fighter, I know it's a tough journey. I know you're alone, but you also receive all that money alone. When you finally make it, and I know it's not everyone that makes it, right, but the ones that can remain disciplined. Look at Devin Haney. Remain disciplined. you gonna make it.
Yep.
At 21, he made it because of discipline. Like it's I don't know. Again, from the outside looking in, it seems that simple. As a trainer, what's the one advice that you give fighters?
Discipline. You
There
gotta
you go.
You can't come into this game, with your, half foot in and other half out. You know what I mean? You gotta go all the way through. You know what I mean?
What does all the way through mean for you as a trainer? What do you want to see your fighter do daily?
Live, breathe, and eat boxing. He has to live like a fighter. You gotta live like a fighter. You gotta train like one. You gotta live like one. Get your proper sleep. Eat like one. You know what I mean? You gotta live and breathe this all day, every day. You know what I mean?
Walk me through it. Like, I'm your fighter. I walk in the gym. What's the first thing you want me doing?
First thing I want you doing, listen. I want you to listen. Make sure you're paying attention to everything I gotta say. You know what I mean? And then with your training, obviously, picking it up.
But what is the training? I mean, walk me through like an infant. Are you? Do you want me to stretch when I walk in? If so, how long? What's next? Is it jump rope? Like, what are you telling your fighters to do?
When you come in, I'm asking you to stretch out, warm up. You know what I mean?
How long does that take?
About 10 minutes. Really stretch up. I want you to jump rope.
How long is that?
Jump rope. It depends. Some people do it for 15 minutes. Some people do it to 20 minutes.
What do you, as the trainer, want?
I do it for
minimum.
10 minutes.
Minimum. Okay.
Minimum 10
so that's
minutes.
3 rounds.
Yeah, and then get into shadow boxing. Shadow boxing could go up to 4 rounds.
4 rounds.
You know what I
12
mean?
minutes.
About 4 rounds shadow boxing, and then get on some gloves. Get on the bag. You know what I mean?
How many rounds on the bag?
I say about 4 or 5 rounds. 4 or 5 rounds. Get on some mitts.
12 to 15.
About 4 rounds on the mitts.
Every day you doing mitts with your fighter?
Uh,
I love it, but I got trainers in here. They're like, yo, you can't give your pad work. And I'm like, come on, coach.
Yes and no, because you have to work on different things, right? As a fighter, you have to work on movement, on footwork. One day would be conditioning, strength, or you could do work on footwork, or you know what I mean, certain techniques of when you're shadow boxing and stuff like that. So it's not every day you would do mitt work, but every other day.
All right, so we did 4 rounds of pad after the 4 rounds of bag. Now what? I go home, or is there something left?
No, we're back to some shadow boxing with some weights. You know what I mean? Doing
After the workout, you want me to shadow box with some weights?
Yeah, I want you to do what we did on the mitts. I want you to work on looking in the mirror. You know what I mean? Shadow boxing again.
So another 4 rounds.
Yeah, get up. Not about 2. You know
Oh,
what I
okay,
mean?
2 rounds. So this is more cool down.
Yeah, cool down. Get into some sit-ups, your core work. You know what I mean?
Sit-ups every day.
Sit-ups every day.
After the workout.
Sit-ups every day.
How many?
If you could do 500, do 500.
What?
You know what I mean?
Coach, I'm talking about for these new guys walking in. I know you trying to set, but you trying to set guideline. But 500, you're scaring them away. They ain't coming back.
It's hard work. You know what I mean? This is boxing. It's not tennis.
Hey, Rocky, I got a question.
Yeah, man. What's up?
Can Ness get one training session? Can he get one training session, whether here or there, wherever? Can he get one training session, a free one?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I didn't want to throw. I didn't want to throw
free
that
one.
in there.
Absolutely.
I didn't want to throw that in there, but that's what I
He
mean.
giving you
That's
discount codes.
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
one free one. He'll never forget you if he get the training session. Like he never forget the body shot Shadazer Green gave him.
Yeah. So, yep. You absolutely anytime you want, man.
For sure.
Anytime. Just give me a ring and I got you.
So, all right. So you said the shadow boxing, cool down, then the sit-ups, at least 500 if you can get to it.
100 minimum, you know what I mean? Do 100 sit-ups, do your...
Now that's it. I did my 100. All right, coach, I'm out. I could leave, or still more?
Usually, if they could, you know what I mean, if they're still around, you know what I mean, still cool down. I forgot to do some speed bag, you know what I mean? It depends what we're working on that day, you know what I mean?
So do you do one-on-one sessions, or you are more class environment?
One-on-one.
Oh, wow.
One-on-one. I really I think every fighter deserves, you know what I mean? Well, if you have an amateur group or, you know what I mean, a bunch of amateurs that come at the same time, you try to work with each one-on-one at a time, at least for some time. But But yeah, I think you learn more when you got that one person. You know what I mean?
People in the chat like 500 sit-ups will give me hernia. Bro.
They said the
Oh my God. So when you were
does 500
when you were
minimum.
fighting, how many sit-ups could you do straight through? Because I promise you,
Straight-
even when
straight
I was
through,
in good shape, 50 would kill me.
I would do 200 straight through.
Wow.
200 straight through. 200 straight through. And I was fighting at 110 pounds, 112 pounds.
I watched and interviewed Bradley, and he would do 1,000 a day.
Yeah.
A day.
Yeah.
But you can see his abs. Like, have you ever seen him at a weigh-in, bro?
He looked like a little bodybuilder.
Hell
you know
yeah.
what I mean? I mean,
But no power though. That's
he
so
was in
crazy.
tremendous
How
shape.
was he so physically fear like he looked scary, but then the knockouts weren't there. He could fight, but they weren't there.
Sometimes when you're built that big, it's always a thing. They always say the biggest guys can't crack. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? You're born with power or you're not. You know, I feel, either you got it like Mike Tyson. He was just a knockout artist. He'd touch you on the side of the head and you were gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it was always something you could develop. But I don't know, man. Bradley was always came in tremendous shape.
Absolutely.
He always came in tremendous shape, and he was ready to
Even
fight.
at the end of his career, he turned vegan, coming in better shape.
Yeah, he could go 12 rounds. Like, he would be in there ready to fight, He was in tremendous shape.
So, you spoke of Gino. Where's Waldo popped in? I look at fighters that have sons and right away feel sympathy for them, or I don't want to say pity because that's harsh. But I feel sorry because it's like they got a harder road than you and I. Like if you wanted to be a boxer, it's easier than Gino or Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. or Rahman Jr. Whoever's a junior, because the expectations are so high. Like you said, Gino's a great amateur, and I'm like, yeah, but is he as slick as his father? Like that's the first thing I said in my head.
Right. But you always got that pressure of who your dad was. You know what I mean? And you have to live up to that expectation. But I don't know. I mean, I think they have to. All these sons of fighters, they really have to, be real disciplined about the sport. You know what I mean? They can't just like, oh, my dad was a fighter, and I think I could do it too. You know what I mean? They really have to, create their own names and really do, you know what I mean? Go their own way. You know what I mean? Their dad did what they did. It's time to see what you could do.
But there's still gonna be guys like me, like, man, Gino ain't as slick as his father. Like, look, he's a boxer, or he's this, or he's that.
He's young still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's young still, you know what I mean? So we'll see how he develops and as he gets older and has more fights and has more experience. See how he comes out.
Okay. Yeah, man. I just feel like it's tough. I think I would probably rather take another profession than fight to get out of my father's shadow. Because, I mean, look, Julio Cesar Chavez, he became a world champion, but he doesn't, like, people forget that. They forget that he became a world champ, and he's whatever he is now because he's not as good as his dad.
Right.
So it's a pretty tough road for the juniors, man.
Yeah, it's a tough road.
Like,
you really gotta, it's tough.
Shane Mosley Jr., same story.
Yeah.
It's hard to live up to your father who was a legend.
He's a good dude, by the way. He's cool.
Who, Shane?
Yeah, Shane.
Of
dude,
course.
He's a good dude.
Of course, he's actually turning it around. The later half of his career is the better half. His last 2 of the 3 performances have been, I thought he won the Quigley fight, and he definitely just beat Rosado. Hopefully he gets a Berlanga fight.
Yeah, that'd be a great matchup. Berlanga's also looking good too. You know what I mean? Shane's a good guy. I hope Shane wins. If he ever gets that fight.
Some would say that being a junior though.
Oh, where'd you come from?
may kind of benefit in the sense of, well, we know that HBO didn't allow Sergio Martinez to defend his WBC title against
Sebastian Zvick.
But yet they allowed Junior to
fight for that vacant title against Sebastian Zvick
on HBO. So, some would say that being a junior,
that legendary name.
Yeah, man. Kind of plays in your favor.
But until it doesn't, right? Because, yes, they'll put you in position because of who you are and you bring out the fans, but sooner or later, you gotta fight your nemesis. They can't protect you from, the contenders forever.
Yeah.
They can do their best to promote you and put you in position where you're the A side, but you still have to perform,
But
you would like to see Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney then?
I would like, that's what's supposed to happen in boxing.
Because they fought each other in the amateurs about 4 times.
Six. Not
Yeah,
only
six,
that,
that's right,
not
yeah.
only that, coach, but just so boxing can get it right. Like, you were his mandatory. Now you're out here saying, oh, belts don't mean nothing. And it's like, these kids are changing the sport,
Yeah.
They're diluting it. They're just discrediting it. They're taking away what made it great. Like, if you're undisputed, you are the best in your division.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be anything else to discuss. No one else should be number one, and everyone should be gunning at the person with 5 belts. He's got the ring and every other sanctioning body, and instead they want to fight each other because, I don't know, popularity or money, which is crazy.
I think they got that Floyd thing where they don't want to lose their O, I think they just don't. They want more money. They want the popularity.
Mm-hmm.
They want to, people. They don't want to really fight yet. I mean, eventually it'll happen. You know what I mean? But as far as like,
so you don't think none of these young guys are really about what they say? Because I mean,
think
you gotta give some of these young guys credit. Like Shakur Stevenson could have not unified in his first
Shakur
title
Stevens-
defense at 130.
Shakur Stevens is a bad boy, man.
You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
he didn't have to go into a straight unification.
exactly,
It
yeah.
was like Jamel, then Valdez. Like, he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So I feel that some of these young guys are really, about everything they say.
Yeah, no, they
Some.
Absolutely some.
They are.
And
but I
look,
think-
Ryan we might be misinterpreting Ryan.
Right.
Because in the grand scheme of things, if he beats Tank, then people will think he can beat
I
Devin.
personally believe he beats Tank.
You think he beats
I
Tank?
think he beats Tank.
Oh, you might be the first person on this planet that said that shit.
I think
Gatorade.
I think he beats. I think he beats Tank. He has the speed, the reach, and that kick a hit, man.
He can't box though. Like, that's the thing.
And
Like, he can't cut off the
pulls out.
ring.
I mean,
He pulls right back.
Yeah, he pulls back with his chin up. Everybody
And
sees that,
he
but-
can't cut off the ring. Like, I gave him a pass in the to-go fight because it's like cool inactivity first fight with Goosen, and it seemed like he hadn't been with Goosen long, at least to the public's knowledge.
What'd you think about his last fight?
I mean, not one time did he cut off the ring. It's like, yeah, we know you got power, we know you're fast as fuck, we know that you can knock people out, but it's like, Papa, you still ain't cut off the ring. Like,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? Like,
there's a lot to learn. From him.
like
He still has
like
to
Devin
work.
Haney's a hell of a boxer. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That these top guys, Gervonta, they're gonna use the ring. What are you gonna do when you can't cut it off?
Yeah, that's true. But he is. That's up to him and his team.
Nah, for sure.
To learn that, you know what I mean. To really work on that for him, you know what I mean. They should. If I was his trainer, I'd say we got to work on that. You know what I mean. Work on the ring.
I don't know, because it's something that he's been doing. This pulling out thing, he did it with Reynoso and he's done it with Goosen. Who was he with before Reynoso? Just his dad? Was it Henry Garcia only?
Yeah, it was just his dad, I believe.
So he's
His dad.
been doing that, bro. He's been.
My old coach used to train him. He used to train him for at least 10 fights.
Wow.
10, 15 fights.
What-
I think he was with him.
What was his name?
Jason Ingwalson. He was with him. He used to train him. He was he taught him a lot of stuff. But I mean, I seen Ryan Garcia. I was with him a couple of times, and I seen him train. So that kid, everybody says he slaps. That kid cracks. He cracks. Tremendous power.
No, I mean,
Tremendous
Nah, he
power.
definitely could crack, because they had to slow down that Fortuna hook. You didn't see that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you legit didn't see that shit.
Yeah, it was quick.
Bro, you just seen Fortuna, like,
Yeah, it
I'm
was
like, what the
he got
fuck?
hit with like a ghost punch or something.
Bruh.
nah, I'm gonna be honest.
Reflexes. He
I'm gonna
got
be honest
crazy
with you guys.
reflexes.
It was like the Fonseca. Man, it was a couple fights that he was like on undercards. I know Canelo undercards, and just other fights where I've seen him in person, and it's like he's fast. That motherfucker's fast. Sometimes you don't see those punches coming, but it's like you're still talking about elite guys. You ain't faced nothing close to.
Yeah.
Like these elite guys know how to box. They know how to use that ring. So, I just don't know, based on what I've seen in the last 2 fights, if he can actually beat those top guys just yet. But we'll see. We'll see. The fights have to happen.
Fights have to happen. He's still young. All these guys are young. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're gonna get better as they get older. You know, we're gonna see better and better fights. So.
But I guess what does that say about the sport, right? If we got all these very talented young guys, I mean, they're gonna have to face each other sooner rather than later, because if not, it's like, who are they gonna face?
Yeah.
Cause think about how many top names are under the age of 30 or even 25. You know, there's a lot of top guys, especially in like those smaller weight classes right now. If you think about like the lightweight division, 130-pound division, 140-pound division, you know, even the smaller weight class, Bam Rodriguez making a big splash, you know, so. Shit, the heavyweight division, you know, Jared Anderson, like, man, it's an exciting time right now.
It's an exciting time, yeah. Bam Rodriguez, like you mentioned him, he's a bad kid, man.
Bad.
He's bad. I mean, I see he could be really great, you know, he's a Mexican fighter, he's really bad. And he moves great too. He cuts off the ring, he could pivot over.
Let me tell you, he is not your typical Mexican.
No.
Like
Forward,
Mexicans are not creating angles the way Bam Rodriguez creates angles for himself. It is beautiful to see as a boxing fan. Like I love it. You know, I love it. We were fortunate to visit him in camp before his first title defense against Visa. So man, he looks phenomenal. He looks phenomenal. And I'm gonna tell you something. You being a trainer, would you agree to the work that is put into the gym shows in the ring on fight night?
Absolutely.
You know, Nez just moved to Vegas a few months ago, and we would go to the gyms. I've lived here 7 years, and we'd go to the gyms, and I'm kind of noticing him kind of care too much and I'm like, champ, you think they can't find sparring in Vegas? What you talking about? Come on, bro. This is Vegas.
Yeah.
And, you know, after a couple months, he's like, yo, I see what you're talking about. I'm like, bro. And you know, we talk about what we've been fortunate to be in training camps with guys like a Bam or a Shakur or a Devin Haney. Yo, the work that is put in literally separates because we see it. It's like the shit they do in the gym nobody else is doing.
Yeah,
and that's why they're able to do shit in the ring that nobody else is doing or do it as easy. Or easier than I mean, so I think that really doesn't get amplified enough. Like, it's really just the work you put in the gym.
It is, yeah.
Obviously, you know, some are more you know, naturally gifted than others, but I'm like, man, these guys really just put the work in the gym that we don't see nobody else do, and that's why they're able to perform like that. But yeah, Ness, I know I came in a little
late.
It's
all good, Coach. So just piggybacking off of what he's saying, you know, I've walked into gyms in the past and have seen like signs that say like stamina makes cowards out of men. So I want to ask you, do you think that a well-trained fighter can beat a overly skilled fighter that didn't put in the work?
I believe if hard works hard, you know what I mean, and the talented fighter doesn't work hard, the hard work is gonna beat him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't train properly and you just go like, oh, I just have talent, I could beat him, whatever. But if this guy who works hard, he's in the gym every day, 3 times a day, you know what I mean, working hard, putting the miles in. You know, if he works that hard, he could beat him, you know.
Have you seen anybody that surprised you that was like that? Like a big name in the sport that maybe overlooked their opponent, didn't take training camp as serious, that maybe kind of surprised you?
Broner.
Mm.
Broner. I mean, Broner was a tremendous talent, I think, you know what I mean? But there was, I guess there was times you would see when he didn't train, or, you would hear that he wasn't training, or he didn't take training seriously, So I think,
Yeah, we were talking about him here the other day, man. He was amazing at 135, man. If he could have just kept it together, that would have been a great career for him.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Who are some of the fighters you like to watch active today?
Bam. I love watching Lomachenko. I'm a huge Lomachenko fan.
Think he beats Devin?
That's a tough fight. Just because Devin, he's like a master boxer. He has his defensively sound.
So crazy to hear trainer after trainer after trainer come in here, sit in that chair and say that Devin is a master, or that Devin is an expert, or, bro, my man's 21?
3.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's probably going to be generational talent. Like a Mayweather, a Muhammad Ali, a Ray Leonard.
He's
when it's all said and done. Let's see if it doesn't, get upset.
He could really box, and I think Devin's gonna be a hard fight for anybody who fights him, anybody. Lomachenko, you know what I mean?
You said Ryan beats Tank. Does Devin?
Does Devin beat Tank?
You said Ryan does.
I think Devin beats Tank.
Oh wow.
I think Devin beats Tank. I think because of his defensive skills, I think Tank will have a hard time. Hard time,
Damn, you picking Tank to lose against both of them. Sheesh.
Listen, Tank's a great
You
fighter.
got social media?
I do.
Give it out, because they're going to come for you.
They going to slide in those DMs, coach.
Yo, what you talking about?
Yep, California _kid23.
California _kid 23.
There you
It's
go.
already
What part
pinned
of
in the
California
chat.
you from, coach?
Linwood,
California. That's SoCal, right?
yeah, right by Compton.
Okay.
But how long you been here in Vegas?
I've been here in Vegas. Let's see, man, it's been, I think, about 14 years now.
Okay,
wow.
You're a vegan already. You're a lost vegan already. It's over.
Yeah, it's over.
Were you in Henderson or somewhere else?
I'm in South Vegas,
Is that like Sky Canyon?
like
I don't be knowing.
like Blue Diamond area.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that area.
Yeah, that's a nice area.
It is.
That is a nice area. Yeah,
So what did you like about Vegas that made you stay?
Well, I came out here for boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I came out here for boxing as an amateur, and I stayed, and then I had children, and been here ever since.
Yeah. For sure, man. Anything else you got for the coach? Let me make sure they didn't send me a post. I actually posted in the chat.
Most memorable fight you've been a part of.
Most memorable fight?
You've been a part of in any way.
Man, it was a Zab Judah fight. It was a Zab Judah fight when he fought here at the Palms. I was training with him, and I was actually sparring with him. I was in his camp, and that was hell. But I was there, and I went to the fight, and that was a good experience.
What was that camp like with a legend like Zab?
Hard worker, man. Hard worker. I mean, his sparring was tough. Sparring, being in the ring with him was grueling, man. He didn't take it easy on anybody. It doesn't matter who you were. He was taking your head off. He was treated like a fight.
What are the chances that I'm sure you've seen that picture. Him and the Judahs and the Haney's have a long relationship, and I'm sure you've seen the picture of Devin coming out with Zab for one of his fights, holding the Ring magazine belt, and Devin's like 9 years old. And
that's amazing.
And
man.
then to see what
that's amazing.
gone on
to do. I mean, Devin's been part of boxing since he was a little kid. It's all he knows. And he's learned from all these world champions and Zab and all them. Like he's good, man.
Absolutely. You got anything?
I do. We
Okay,
got a
beautiful.
couple questions from the people. First one coming in from San Antonio. James Valdez that says, if Earl gets past Bud, Derek James is sure to get Trainer of the Year in 2022. If Bud beats EJ, who do you have as Trainer of the Year for 2022? Possibly Robert Garcia. If he gets the win over AJ and having obtained the WBC championship with Bam, it's likely. What are your thoughts, though?
I think it's possible Robert Garcia. You know, he's training AJ now. So, but if he could get that win over Usyk, then
Let me tell y'all, if Earl and Bud happen this year and Earl wins, Derek James, 2 undisputed champions in 1 year, like,
yeah.
you know, there's no question.
Yeah.
There's no question. And then,
But he still has to get over past Bud.
yeah. But, you know, Derek James been doing his damn thing. I know last year, he even had, I know he came up short, but Marcus Brown even was in that title shot against Better Beef. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting because, like you said, Robert Garcia is definitely done great things this year, and especially if AJ could pull it off against
And I think
Usyk.
he's won Trainer of the Year before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he has.
Yes.
Has Derek James?
I don't believe.
I seen Derek receive the WBC Trainer's belt, but that's WBC. That's not Trainer of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that he has,
So
but
that'd be good if he could win it. You know, that'd be great. That'd be great if he could win it.
I got Ruin a 504 New Orleans that says, what's the most difficult aspect of the transition from boxer to trainer?
Man, really, I think teaching really being, I think patience plays a big part, and because you're a fighter, you were a fighter once, so I think, and not every the way you trained and you were a fighter, you can't train everybody the same. You know, everybody has their own skills and their own special technique and what they have and their own attributes and what they have. You can't train everybody like how you trained. You know, you got to look what they have and bring that out in them. You know, so you really have to look out for that. I think you have to have an eye for how they fight and what they bring to the table. You know.
All right. I got Scott, the Christian Fight fan, that says, what up, coach? Thank you for blessing us with your presence on the best boxing podcast on the planet, The Boxing Voice. I'm a huge Terrence Crawford fan. Who do you think wins between Bud and Earl when the fight happens?
I lean, man, that's a hard one. Listen, I like Errol Spence. I mean, what he's done, he's amazing fighter. But after the accident, I don't know how he could perform and how he looks. You know, I don't know. I don't know if he looks different or.
I mean, he got the stoppage over Ugas.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so I don't know. That's a tough fight, man. It's a really 50-50 fight for me, I think. But I lean.
But only because you think Earl is not fully himself because of everything?
Not fully himself. I don't know. He got caught with Ugas, and he definitely, after, I think he took it when he came back, he fought Danny Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
He came back, fought Danny Garcia. I didn't see like he was like really dogging, you know what I mean? Like he was like really like you know.
who's really dogged Danny Garcia though?
That's true. Yeah.
Like nobody's dogged Danny Garcia in any fight.
Earl is the closest. Earl made Danny actually, like, Danny thought every fight he lost was tight. That's the first fight he said he beat me. He said Thurman, he beat Thurman. He said he beat Porter.
And those were all close fights.
Those were all close fights.
Those were all close fights. You get what I'm saying? So nobody's dogged Danny Garcia. You know, Danny Garcia is a dog himself. You know, so
he just beat Benavidez. He did a tremendous job.
man, that was
fight.
Honestly one of the best Danny performances I've seen.
Yeah, he really outboxing the guy.
No, for sure. He invested in that body from round number 1.
He did.
And yeah, it's like cool. He didn't get any knockdowns or anything, but that body work totally slowed down Benavidez.
Yeah, he looked tremendous in that. He came in shape. He came to fight. He looked great.
And let me tell you, you know, people talk about the Benavidez of the Terrence Crawford fight. I think that this was a better Benavidez.
Really?
In the sense that I felt I felt in that Terrence Crawford fight that he literally was dragging his leg. Like throughout the fight, like I felt his leg was so bad that he was dragging it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
In this fight, it wasn't like that. People say, well, he didn't really use his legs like that. And you know, he never really.
He didn't. He stood right there.
But the thing is, he never really. When was he a mover? You know what I'm saying? Even before he was shot, I was at the fight before he got shot, which was on the Terrence Crawford and Victor Posto undercard at the MGM Grand. Yo, he got the stoppage late, but it's like he's not a mover. Like he fighting Mexican style. Like he's not really moving in the ring. He's not really creating angles. But like I said, I didn't feel that he was dragging his leg around in this fight. So I felt that as far as that was concerned, that was a better Jose Benavidez Jr. Now, is he maybe a more natural welterweight? Perhaps. Was he perhaps in better shape for that fight? Yeah, maybe so. But as far as the leg is concerned, I think that from what I saw, it looked better in this fight than it did in the Crawford fight.
Yeah, it did. He's never been really a mover like you say. You know what I mean? He's kind of just like walked his opponents down. You know what I mean? But he looked tremendous though. He actually came in shape. He looked great.
He did look like he was in good shape. Looks like we got New York Bullet that says, "What up, coach? If you had the chance to train a legend, any legend of your choice, who would it be? Blessings."
Oof, that's a hard one. Oh man, Muhammad Ali.
You ever trained heavyweight, coach?
No, I've held pads for heavyweights.
Okay.
I've held pads for heavyweights. It's a different crack.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be funny, but I think too the heavyweights of back then probably not comparable to the heavyweights today, right? As far as size is concerned, we definitely saw a lot smaller heavyweights back then.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Looks like we got Canna in Nebraska. He says, "Who do you see winning Usyk versus AJ and how?"
I don't know. I think AJ, if he could make the right adjustments, he could pull it off, But Usyk, again, he's a tremendous fighter.
What do you think those
angles, he's amazing.
What do you think those right adjustments are? Because we've been on the show kind of arguing as to what Robert Garcia could bring out of him. Like I said, we were just down there, so we know he has a huge heavyweight, that he's already been working with. Obviously not to the caliber of Anthony Joshua, but he has at least heavyweight familiarity. That being said,
he's also trained Mike Perez when he was a heavyweight.
Right. Now, that being said, like I said, we've argued on the show as to what it is that Robert Garcia will try to bring out of Anthony Joshua. What do you think those adjustments are that need to be made in that fight?
I think he needs to establish his jab right from the get-go. You know what I mean? I think a good jab, keeping something in Usyk's face, because Usyk, he's gonna look to slip all those punches and create an angle. I think you have to move when he moves. When if he moves, if he pivots over or he creates that angle, you got to move with him. You know what I mean? And establish your jab. Keep something in his face constantly. Don't let him get in the inside.
Coach, is it more difficult than what us casuals are like? Because we're like, oh, man, he should have just walked him down. He's the bigger man. Just go in there and beat him up. And that's what we think he's going to do now. And that's what he thinks he's going to do. That's why he's bringing in Robert Garcia. Why else do you bring in a Mexican coach that focuses on activity and coming forward if you're not going to be active and come forward? But is the game plan that simple, or are they in for a surprise?
The game plan is never that simple. You know what I mean? You always got someone who's always hitting back on the other side. But if they could really train properly and really train hard, I mean, it could be done. Anything is possible. But it's never that easy.
All right, let me give a refresh here in case we got any last minutes.
Coach, what fight are you most excited for that's coming up? Like something that we already have in the books, because the beginning of the year we started off hot, like March, April, May, even into June, it was hot, and then like July slowed down. August, it's been slow so far. I know we got the AJ fight coming up, but Canelo's coming up, the Haney-Kambosos rematch. What are you looking forward to?
I want to see the Shakur fight actually. Shakur
Versus Garcia?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Teofimo's fight to 140 actually. Him at 140, I want to see how he does there.
Yeah,
I'm a
but
big fan of
who is
Teofimo.
Pedro Campa? Who is these guy?
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
Well, what's
find out.
that? What's
We're
that
gonna find
fight?
out.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like
You know.
it's like even if he shines, what does that really tell us?
Well, it's his first
He's
fight.
back.
It's his first fight at 140. He's not gonna.
And
not
off
gonna
an
take-
injury, off a
Yeah.
layoff. Damn, Danny.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Earl Spence coming off the car accident went into a Danny Garcia fight. We were able to gauge something.
Yo,
from
Earl
that.
said tune-ups of a guys is unsure. T.O.'s unsure of his shoulder. He came out of surgery.
No, I hear you. I'm just saying that we were able to gauge where Earl was kind of at in that Danny fight. I don't know that we'll be able to do that in the
Very true.
in the T.O. fight. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to his return. Kind of seeing how he looks. I know he was out here. He started camp out here and then chose to go back home to Jersey. So
right, he's in Jersey. Yeah.
so he's finishing off camp out there. So I'm looking forward to what specifically in the Shakur Robson Conceal fight are you looking forward to? Because obviously Conceal gave Valdez a lot of problems.
Lot.
Yeah, I think Shakur's gonna stop him. I
What?
think Shakur stops him. Yeah, I think Shakur's a tremendous fighter. He's a great fighter, and he's only getting better. You see him getting better every fight, better and better and better. So I think maybe a stoppage, maybe late stoppage.
Yeah, we were just down there a month ago. Yeah, we got there actually the 4th of July. So yeah, we were down there a month ago. And he was just kind of like in pre-camp,
Before the official announcement.
before the official announcement of the fight, and it's like he's still putting in dog work. Like if it's camp, and talking about those young guys, they like to push each other. So we got to see him and Jared Anderson, working together, and it's like you got a 130 pounder and you got a heavyweight. That outweighs them by 100 pounds, but they were still working with each other, still, kind of pushing each other. So things like that is great to see because I feel like we're only gonna get the best fights, the best out of the sport of boxing. So looking forward to it.
Right.
We do have another one coming in from Phoenix, Arizona. B-Lo says, what's good, Coach? Thanks for coming on and for giving us your time. How do you think Canelo does against Triple G? Does Triple G go down?
I don't know if Triple G goes down. Triple G has a great chin.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, great chin. I mean, you saw in the second fight, he took everything Canelo had, and he caught him straight flush on the chin at some points. But I do believe that Canelo has to prove something, because of his last loss. So he has something to prove. I think he beats Triple G in this one.
Do you think that Bivol just has his number, or do you think that maybe he was getting too ahead of himself? I mean, it was like
I don't know if you get it too ahead of yourself because he is a fighter. Fighters want to fight. But he was trying to be great. He was trying to be great.
Well, what I'm saying by getting too ahead of yourself, it's like, yo, are you really focused on the guy at hand when you already got your next guy lined up and a possible for the end of the year? Like, are you really that focused?
Right.
Are
I get what
you,
you're saying, yeah.
or are you just trying to do a little bit too much? I don't know. I just wanted your thoughts on that because, we did see, like I said, they already had Triple G lined up and they had a possible for the end of the year.
They definitely got him really busy, you know what I mean? They definitely got him like, oh, you're fighting this guy at the end of the year and then him coming up at the beginning of the year, you know what I mean? So he's I don't know if he's maybe feeling the pressure of that or he's just fighting just to fight, you know what I mean? Who knows? But I think they definitely got him really busy. I think he's probably going to be really focused for this Triple G fight coming up, because of his coming off his last loss. So he wants to make, almost like I'm good. Like I could do this again. Like maybe a possible rematch with Bivol.
It's funny. I'm gonna be honest because they already had Triple G lined up before the Bivol fight even took place. I was critical of it because Canelo had been on a hot streak and Triple G not as much. Yeah, he's won every fight, but he hasn't looked as impressive. He hasn't took those challenges.
Right.
I was critical. I'm like, yo, I don't want to see that shit. But it was because it was already a thing before the Bivol fight happened. So now it's like even me, I'm even overlooking Bivol because I'm like, I don't want to see that shit. I'm like, I want to see, the winner of Joe Smith and Better Beef,
Right.
because it's like they already looking ahead, and it was like I think maybe they were giving them a bit too much. Like I'm like one fight at a time, one fight at a time, because I feel like as much as you say no, you got this guy in September, you gonna overlook this camp, this opponent just a tad, because you know what's next. You know that's a bigger payday. You know that's a bigger fight.
Yeah, he knows he has stuff lined up, but I mean, when you're a fighter, you gotta focus. I mean, that's where your discipline comes in, right? I think you have to focus on what's at hand. He has to. Right now, he has Triple G in front of him, and his Triple G, is a tremendous puncher as well. You know what I mean? So he can't take it easy. You know what I mean? He can't go in this fight knowing like, oh, I'm just gonna walk him down, or like I did last time. He's a little bit older or whatever.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that, because the first thing I thought of was Canelo, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And the reason I thought of that fight is because there wasn't one round where Canelo sat down and he's like standing in between every round, which we only see in sparring. We don't really see in a fight. So, of course, people are talking about that. But it's like he's doing that like, I'm that much better than you. I'm about to walk you down. I'm about to dog you. This shit goes to the decision, and then 5 minutes later, Triple G's in the ring, and they already announced the fight. So I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, you was making it seem like it was going to be the easiest thing in the world, but in reality, you was probably playing it a little bit safe, because you knew Gennady is supposed to happen in 3 months. It's already booked. It's already scheduled.
Yeah, right.
So now it's like, fuck, if I get a cut, if I get this, it may delay. So in the back of my mind, as everything unfolded, I'm like, well, maybe that's why he didn't take those risks. Maybe that's why he kind of held back a bit in the fight. Maybe that's why he didn't throw the fourth and the fifth punch. One fight at a time, I feel like, because you getting a bit too comfortable, you getting to overlooking people, and obviously the shit backfired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
And I'm not saying it's intentional. I'm not saying.
But Coach, it only backfired because he didn't change the game plan. Yeah. I don't know if Reynoso was telling him to or not, but he just kept going for the bicep. He thought sooner or later, Better Beef won't use his, Bivol won't use his arm, but that never happened.
Yeah, he didn't couldn't make the adjustment, in that fight. So we'll see.
Which is sad. I didn't think that would ever be the case. I thought he was capable of adjustments, but
excuse me.
Justin White says, piggybacking off of Danny, a fighter we should be giving more attention to, someone we should watch. So do you want to recommend anyone we should be watching that needs the attention?
I think a fighter coming up, Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis, he's a bad boy too. I think he's one to watch.
Yeah, I was fortunate to see him. Look, that's another one. He doesn't even have a fight scheduled. And they told me October, November, maybe, right? Those were the possible dates they told me. I went late July. My guy's already sparring. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yo, those guys I'm talking about, they train different, Coach. Those guys, they train different.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You seen Boots Ennis train?
Yeah, I was there. I was just in Philly. I saw him spar. And then that's what I'm saying. He don't even have a fight lined up. He's sparring, got off sparring, working the heavy bag with another one of his gym mates. No, I mean, for me, it was the way that he was able to avoid those shots. It was just like he moves. He moves beautifully.
Yeah, beautiful.
The way he moves is beautiful.
I've seen clips of him working with kids too, and trying to teach kids. I mean, he's supposed to be this upcoming star. You know what I mean? But I seen him work with kids, and I was like, oh man, that's really cool. You know what I mean? He's working with kids and teaching them things about boxing and stuff. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Nah, definitely. I was in the gym. A lot of kids. There were some pros, but there was a lot of kids, a lot of youth, and the gym isn't a bad part of the city. So it's definitely helping take some of these kids off the street and whatnot.
Absolutely, yeah.
So nah, man, Boots is special. Boots
Yeah,
is
he
special.
is.
I'm excited. I'm actually
is.
headed out there in like 2 weeks
Nice.
back to Philly. So
Wow.
go check him out.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick intermission and be right back as we're going to take a picture with the coach. Coach, please give out any social media for those that are just tuning in and don't know where to find you, want to ask you a question, or want to come train with you here in Las Vegas at DLX Boxing. Please let them know how to find you.
California_kid23 on Instagram. And if you're ever in Vegas, come look me up at DLX Boxing, 3635 South Fort Apache.
All right.
What up, YouTube family? Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1 million subscribers. We're on the road to 1 million. And obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content or right here on our YouTube members.